Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Everyday Riches Shows. This is Barbara Ellison, and
And
this
I'm
is
Pat
my
Knauer.
wonderful co-host.
Yes, I'm Pat
And
Knauer, and we have a wonderful guest here today. Dean is just amazing. Dean is the host of the People I Meet the People I Meet podcast, but he talks to the most interesting people in the world. He's a father, a writer, a musician, and he lives really simply and freely as possible in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. How cool is that, right? Yeah.
My YouTube channel that was originally created to promote my music is filled with over 100 videos of just me feeding deer.
Oh, how cool is that? So I guess if you need a moment of peace and tranquility, go watch Dean feeding deer.
There you go. Yep, they come and eat right out of my hand.
Right, and that's one of the things. That was one of the first things that I saw when I first heard Dean's name. Oh, he's feeding deer. And you know what? It was just exactly what you just talked about. It was just tranquil. And it was like, we all need to take those little breaks and you don't have to go out and move to the mountains to feed deer, but you can do other little things. You can walk out your door and sit on your doorstep and watch somebody go by your house. It doesn't have to be, but it's just, I think basically it's just that take the time to stop, get out of the bustle, hustle and bustle and stuff. So,
and especially now with COVID, we're all inside and we're all, way overwhelmed with so much video. Hello, video. We're doing another video for you. But anyway,
right.
It's also a podcast. But anyway, where people are so overwhelmed with, sitting in front of a computer all day, that getting outside and getting some fresh air, go walk in your yard, go take a walk around the block. There's this program that I'm seriously thinking about joining, but I haven't taken the plunge yet, called 75 Hard. I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but it's 75 days and it's got these really strict requirements of it. And it's really meant to be an in-your-face kind of experience where you are everything that stops you in life gets challenged. So, for instance, one of the things you need to do is you need to do two 45-minute stints of exercise a day, and one of them has to be outside.
Oh, brother. Yeah. That's my first reaction. Oh, brother.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. And at any point, you have a break in the program, you do something that you don't fulfill that daily obligation or whatever that obligation, you have to go back to day one. So it's meant to give you, and one of the things is like being on some kind of a meal plan. It doesn't have to be a diet per se, but some kind of a meal plan you have to follow. So, and if you cheat on it, you have to go back to day one.
Oh, right. Oh, well.
So
but you know what? And yet there are probably going to be people who do it.
Yes.
I mean, it's like how many people joined the health club on January 1st or 2nd?
Well, there's a really
by the 3rd week of January, they're done.
There's a really big community of people who are in 75 Hard. Yeah. I mean, a really big community.
That are doing it.
Yeah.
Because they need that. Don't you think it comes down to having the accountability?
That's what it's all about.
It's all about.
Everything in life.
Yeah. So that's like with me right now. Okay, but before we get going, let's do a couple of little housekeeping things. Hey, tell your friends. If you're liking what you're hearing, tell your friends. Leave us notes. You know where to leave them. And you know what? Use the buttons to share us some love, to send us some love. So we're all just excited about being here. But so today we're
give me
about the crazy weeks we've had.
Yeah, if you could give me 1 second, please. I don't know if you can see behind me, but Lady Dog broke into the recording studio. So I got to go close the door.
Awesome.
My grandchildren walk in sometimes in the middle of our So,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're all good.
So I don't know if anybody else is being affected by Mercury being in retrograde. It started a week ago on Monday.
Oh, really?
Oh, technology and retrograde don't like each other. Typically, they don't like each other. So I know that this past week has been Saturday. I went to turn on my computer, not to do anything important. So, somebody shot me a message saying, "Hey, can you send me this?" So I went to get on my computer and I opened it up and it said, "Your memory is completely full," and it shut down my computer.
Oh no.
Guess how I spent the next 2.5 days? I finally got it up and running completely on Monday.
Did it give you any
Monday.
warning that your memory was full?
Well, the thing was that every once in a while it would say your memory's almost full. So I would go and I would clear part of it off.
Right.
Well, it turns out I've got a Mac, and Mac, if you go into the storage area, it will tell you how much storage is being used by this and that.
Right.
Well, there's this one category called Other, and you can't get into it to see what Other is. So there's no way of knowing what Other is. So I spent.
And you don't want to delete it just in case it's something that's like, oh, right.
But you don't know what Other is. It's a conglomerate. It's like a mishmash of stuff. So I worked with somebody on Saturday who got me so far, but couldn't get me any farther. So she said, "Let me get a senior to help you." So he gave me some instructions. So I did those. Went to get back on Sunday. Still didn't do it. I had to wipe my entire computer off, down to nothing. Yeah, fortunately I had a hard drive. I put everything on the hard drive. Not everything came back, unfortunately. I've lost some things. And got that reloaded overnight on Sunday night. I get up on Monday morning. Everything is now going into iCloud. And guess what? By about noontime, iCloud was full. I couldn't save anything more. Yay. So I get to spend the rest of the day working on my computer. It's been just great.
Yeah. I had to reset mine this morning. Totally had to shut it down, reset it. Anyway, so yeah.
And you lost your internet this weekend too, Barb. That was interesting.
Yes. Well, it turns out when they put in the line across our yard, they didn't bury it far. They didn't bury it far enough down, so it was really kind of close to the surface. Well, our neighbor put a plant stake in his yard, in the side of his yard. It hit our line. A plant stake. I mean, I'm sorry, but you should be able to put a plant stake. It was not a long stake. It wasn't like he was digging. He just put in a little plant stake, and wow. They had, I guess, when they were doing the line. I mean, it was a rainy day, and they just didn't take the time to really bury it.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is like, you're in the Chicago area, you're in Illinois, and it gets cold there. So they normally bury everything deep down. Here in Florida, everything is right under the surface. In fact, it's really kind of funny. I lived in Tallahassee for a while. And when it gets cold, because Tallahassee gets like really cold. I mean, like really cold, and occasionally they even get snow. And they don't bury things deep down. So when it gets, in fact, most like water pipes and things are like 3 inches below the surface. So when it gets really cold, you have to run your water overnight, and you have to leave your cabinet doors open to make sure the pipes stay warm.
Right.
But that's just how it is here in Florida. So, not in Illinois. How about in Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
what's it like?
That's what I was just going to say. So now that we've discussed,
yeah, because you get really bad winters there too.
Yeah. So in where I live, the infrastructure is so old that nothing is buried other than sewer lines.
Oh my.
Yeah. So we still have the problems with the squirrels. The squirrels love to eat the cable lines and the internet lines.
Oh my.
Yeah. So everything's still on telephone poles, because that's how old we are. Yeah.
Oh, that must be fun when winter storms come in.
Yeah. We actually had last year in January, we had our neutral line. You have positive, negative, and neutral,
right?
On for your electricity. That snapped in the middle of the winter. Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, and we had to shut the entire house down and wait for the power company to come out and fix the line. It was only about 4 hours, so that was good. But it was quite cold for a little while.
Oh, because you use electricity to heat your house.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What would happen to us sometimes? Just the other day, somebody hit one of the lines and it knocked out the power. Luckily, I was on the grid right beside. I guess mine was the next grid, so mine only flashed, but some of the people were out for hours, including the bank. Oh, yike.
Yeah.
And it was like a large area from like probably like a 20-mile area.
Well, then now you know what it's like.
One grid.
Now you know what it's like to go through a hurricane in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just thinking of Lake Charles as she was talking. I was like, yeah, they've been through it twice already this year.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine is a Katrina survivor.
Wow.
And when they were having those last couple of ones that were coming, because she lives in New Orleans, and she was like, yeah, we're just praying that it goes sideways, that it dissipates. And she said, still, every time there's a storm, she gets that feeling of, because she survived, but she says, she survived it and made her stronger.
She's still there.
Isn't that the truth? The adversities is what does make us stronger. So Dee, tell us about, I had the privilege of being on your podcast, so that was very cool. The people that I meet. And so tell us, who is the most interesting person that you've met or that you've interviewed?
That's probably unfair. You're putting me in an uncomfortable position.
Well, okay, or maybe not the most, or maybe the most controversial, or the most. I don't know. What would just?
Well, I can
really just touch
the most memorable.
Really touched you.
Yeah,
memorable. Yeah, that's a better word. Yeah,
the most memorable is Veronica McKay, because of. She was, I think she was the third episode of this season 2. And
of what show? Of this, okay.
Of the People I Meet podcast, season 2 of the People I Meet podcast. Right. She was pretty sure she was episode 3 of season 2. And she just went through, she had so many horrible things happen to her in life. And she is still she's still a leader after all this craziness. She was I don't want to go into a whole lot of it, but the latest thing was 3 years ago. She was moving here to the Poconos, to my neighborhood, and when she got here, the propane stove in her trailer exploded, and she was in the trailer waiting to close on her house here in my neighborhood, and the propane stove exploded, and she had 4th, 5th, and 6th degree burns on 17% of her body. Yeah, that was my reaction too, Pat, because I was like, when I met her, I was like, wait a minute, I was aware of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree burns. I had no idea.
Yeah,
that it went further.
Levels. Yeah, we learned that in nursing school. Not good.
Yeah, so she deals with that. She deals with PTSD. She deals with people staring at her when she goes to the swimming pool, or when she wears shorts or wears a dress. She's this 6 foot tall, beautiful woman who used to be a model. So she's used to people staring, but not staring for those reasons, right? Right. It's and then just having her, I was on the phone with her last night, and she's going to bat for other people. She's like in a fight for justice for this other person, right? And she's just nonstop. She just goes and loves people and moves forward, and it's an incredible story. So she's easily the most memorable. At one point in the interview, she told this story, and I was just like, okay, we have to stop. We have to stop for a second, because she wanted to just keep going and telling her story. And I was like, no, we have to stop. I have to catch my breath. I feel like I just got punched in the solar plexus. I can't breathe, and it's her story. She's the one who lived through it. It was just, it's just amazing that she's, I don't just meet folks with tragedy, and obviously everybody has some sort of tragedy
Right.
and pain in their life. But hers was just constantly overwhelming every time you catch your breath and think, okay, now we're getting to the point where it's going to go right in her life. And it's like, nope, got something else we got to deal with first, it was pretty amazing. And so she was easily the most memorable.
Wow. We'll have, you know what, Pat, we'll have to talk to her.
We are going
to just
be interesting.
I can connect.
A story of resilience.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and right now, some of the people that I've been talking to, they're so caught up in what's happening to them that it's like, yeah, we all have stuff that's happening to us. Like I'm going to share one little thing about me. It was 9 years ago today that my husband died. Today.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and yet I look back now, and over these 9 years, I met Pat, and we've been friends for so long, and it's still, I'm a little emotional about it, but you know what? My life I've gone through so many things that now it's like, okay, Barbara, you have to share with people. It's made me who I am, and that I have to share with people that, hey, this is all the stuff that I've gone through. Like some of it was good, some of it not so good. So, all the things that we have gone through. But it's the things that we go through that make us who we are. And it's that message that people need to hear. And like right now, I'm doing Suzanne Evans's 5-day speaking challenge. Because you know what? We have to get our message out. And that's why it is so fun to have Dean here, because that's exactly what he's doing. He's getting the message. He's a vehicle that is being used to get these messages out to people. Because there's 7 billion people on the planet. And we have to get our messages out. And people are hungry, absolutely hungry to matter and to have something that's going to make a difference, and that they're not alone, that somebody else has gone through what they are going through right now, and that there is help, that there is support, that there is compassion and empathy. And that's what I think we're here for. And that's what part of this show is about. It's just about the everyday riches that we can bring out, that, yes, we all have struggles. I did not expect to lose my husband. I did not expect to have to declare bankruptcy. All of those things. I didn't expect to have a business that I was in get shut down by the FTC. Not something that I expected.
You've had a very busy 8 or 9 years.
It's been a long, but today it's 9 years. And I can honestly say that right now I love my life. And it's all about growth, of becoming who you're supposed to be. So that's my little thing of today.
Dean, I really love how you give every person that speaks to you in your show, you really give them significance. One of the things I really appreciated the experience about being on your show was that I really felt like I was not only heard, but that I was seen, and that my life really mattered. And you did it in such a way that was with real kindness and compassion. And I assume you do that you interact with everybody in that same way.
Yeah.
Some of them are we're just having fun together. Because I find people incredibly fascinating, and I find people's stories incredibly fascinating. So thank you. I really appreciate that. But Barbara, before once the show's over, before we get off the air, before we get off the meeting together, remind me. I have a gift I'd like to give you before we shut off. So, if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, so sorry for the little blip. My phone was dying.
Okay. Dean, what made you decide to start your podcast?
I've been fascinated. I got introduced to podcasts. The first time it was probably 2008, 2009. And I didn't think much of it. There were already people who were making a little money off of it. I was so busy with my music career and raising the 3 kids and taking care of my elderly mother. I didn't think much about it. And then in 2012, I started getting invited on podcasts, and I was speaking on podcasts on a regular basis, and I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. And then in 2017, I decided to give my first podcast a shot. It wasn't quite working. It didn't fit my personality well enough. And so I got rid of that. And then in 2019, I started the People I Meet podcast, which is much more, it's still growing and evolving, but it's much more up my alley. It's much more me, where I get to focus on other people. And instead of just what I know, I get to focus on other people, find out about their lives, find out what they know. Because I'm always looking for not just a good story, but I'm always looking for more wisdom and more ideas. So, Veronica is the most memorable person that's ever been on the podcast. The person that I find their thinking is so different, and so I am completely fascinated, is Stuart Huff, and his episode will be coming out in a couple weeks. He's a stand-up comedian, but he is unlike any other stand-up comedian you've ever heard. And that's the only way I can describe it. As a matter of fact, we talked for over 2 hours. Neither one of us wanted to stop, but his wife was like, okay, it's really late. You're about to fall asleep in this interview. Let's stop. And and we finally stopped, but we went nearly 2 hours. He didn't tell a single joke.
Wow.
And it was just, we were just talking back and forth about this incredibly fascinating life that he lived, that he's living still, but that he's lived so far, that because he doesn't think like other people. And he figured out very early on, I mean, like 8th or 9th grade, he figured out, yeah, I don't really think like other people think. What can I do with this? How can I enjoy this?
Wow.
And so he's lived his life incredibly differently. And that is just I mostly just asked a question and sat and listened to the story, and just like, oh my gosh, how does your brain work like this? It's amazing. So just one quick thing is 8th or 9th grade. It might have been a little later, but it was it was before he graduated high school. He thought, I like girls. I really like girls, but none of the girls try to talk to me, and I don't know how to talk to them. So I'm going to take home economics, because only girls take home economics, and they'll be forced to talk to me.
Brilliant. Right. Okay. So I'm going to tell everybody listening think about something where you feel awkward and figure out a way to make it work for you. What a brilliant way of doing things. Right. That's totally brilliant.
Yeah, that I did something sort of similar when I was in construction in my 20s. I was, when I was up there on a roof of a big house, I'd be scared. I'd be really scared, because I don't want to fall off. I got these kids I got to take care of, blah blah blah, and I really like living. And I'd be really scared. And so what I started doing was, like, on break, because you get a couple breaks during the day. I would just walk over to the edge of the roof and stand there and force myself to look down. That's until good. I could stand there and look down and my heart wouldn't speed up. And I'd be like, okay, all right, now I'm all right.
Yeah. Yes. And doesn't that come into, like, even in speaking, like in speaking and in doing podcasts, it's this, you face the fear, feel the fear, I mean, we are never going to do anything without feeling some type of trepidation. But
Right.
you know what? Feel the fear, get in touch with it, and then go, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm not going to die. So
Yeah.
let's do it.
And the
Yeah.
crazy thing is that fear and excitement release the same neurochemicals into your body, the exact same
Right.
neurochemicals. So you get to interpret it as fear or as excitement. It's entirely up to you how you want to interpret it.
Right. And
Yeah.
I was lucky
Yeah.
enough to learn that it was early on. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody pointed out, they took an interview with Carly Simon, the singer Carly Simon from the,
Mhm.
You're So Vain is what
Yeah.
most people will know. So they took an interview of her describing what the hour before she goes on stage is like. And then, an interview of Bruce Springsteen describing what the hour before he goes on stage, and they describe the exact same sensations in their body, and
Mhm.
she describes it as fear and he describes it as excitement. Oh, I just can't wait to get out there in front of the crowd. But there's describing the exact same physical processes going on in their bodies. And I was like,
Right.
oh, okay, I can do
That's
that.
it. You know who really does what the person who I really heard that from the very first time that just and totally embraced it was Mel Robbins. And
Okay.
she's the 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it. Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, oh, and so now that's how I started doing, being out there and speaking. Feel the fear, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. I'm going to do it. And but it's exactly, your stomach is churning, your heart is pounding, sweat. And it's like, oh, brother. And it's the same thing. Fear,
But
either fear or excitement.
if you do it within 5 seconds, you don't have the opportunity to walk away from it. Because the longer that you wait, the bigger it builds up, especially if you're in the fear mode, and you don't want to go there. So you want to get in as quick as possible. So you just move past it. It's the easiest way.
Yeah. And when I used that quite often, and I don't have to anymore, was when I knew I had to get up. All right, Barbara, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The alarm would go off. Barbara, get up out of bed. And now I don't have to. I jump out of bed because now I'm excited to do the things that I'm going to do. Like I want to do the things that I'm doing. But it's like, oh yeah, that works. And I do it for the first times that I did like Instagram little invitations, little, and that's how I started doing online stuff. Was I started on Instagram and doing like 50-second little videos. So
yeah,
because you have to start somewhere.
Other than walking to the edge of a roof and looking down, when you're doing where else in your life do you interpret it as excitement? Like when you're doing your podcast, is that exciting to you, or is that fearful to you, or what do you feel?
Yeah, there's never been any fear at all with the podcast, because I had so many years. I spent so many years in the music business, being on stage and speaking from stage, and with the podcast, it's just one-on-one. It's so much. It's easy, right? I don't have to be paying attention to what's going on with a crowd. All right. Reading a crowd is different than reading one person. So the podcast has never been there's never been any fear other than starting it. Where the fear really is getting to the point where I got myself to ask enough people to come on. So I realized it's about 1 in 10 for invitations that I put out and people accept.
Wow, that's slower.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I realized I had to get over that fear. I had to get over, artists. We just don't like being rejected. Right. And for artists, especially artists who, there's artists who are competitive and artists who are creators just to share, right? Not that the competitive people aren't creative. In fact, some of the competitive people are the most creative because they're
Right.
so competitive, right? Their competitiveness drives them to be even more creative. But I'm one of the artists who I'm just excited to create. And when you're that type of artist, the no's, you take it as personal rejection, no matter what anybody tells you. And so those build up on you. And getting myself to be like, okay, that's just a part of the game. You have to, what's most important is putting out enough invitations to get enough people on the podcast. And once I crossed that barrier, and it took me over a year to cross that barrier. But once I crossed that barrier, I very quickly got to the point where people were saying, wait, it's September and you're not going to air my episode until February? Wait. And I was like, okay, time to pull the reins back a little bit. So I had to make a different adjustment there. Once I made that, once I got over that barrier, once I crossed that, whatever that zone or line is, once I crossed it, it was gangbusters. So
that's like us. We're already booking into December.
Yeah,
because people want to get their message out, and part of it, I think, is that they have gotten over the fear of making a mistake. That's one time my husband was a professional guitar player, and one day we were talking just about, I said, have you ever been in the middle of a gig and forgotten the words and the music? He said, seriously, Barb, you're asking me that? Of course I've done that. And he said, and so and then after I had asked him that, one day he was doing a gig and I was in the audience, and he was standing there and he's like, okay, there's a chord in there. I know there's a chord in there. I just can't find it right now, but I know that there's a chord in there, and just made a complete joke of it. Mm-hmm. And once you can get to that point that, hey, you know what, everything is good. It's all good. It's all going to be fun. It's all going to work out. It was just fun. And that's how Pat and I said about this show. We said, we're just going to do it. We're going to make mistakes. We are going to, flub up and do stuff, and things are going to happen. But you know what? We do it. We've got to get the word out. So anyways, yes, we're already at 30 minutes, and we said we were going to stop at 25. But anyway, so yes.
I just have two questions for Dean. Actually, I have three questions for Dean.
Okay.
What's the biggest audience you've ever performed in front of?
About 1,500.
Okay, that's a pretty big size audience.
Yeah. And then I found out afterwards that it was also being broadcast worldwide. So it was nice. Ahead of time. Yeah, it was one of those beautiful gigs where they called me at the last minute to play a conference. I show up, and the guy who's the lead singer, he has a book of like 60 or 70 songs, and he's like, here's the song book, but only like half the songs that I'm going to do are in here. So you really just got to follow by ear. And
okay.
Yeah. And like halfway through, we got to this place where we were just kind of just playing and improvising and just enjoying the music for the music's sake. And it got real quiet. And I was playing bass on this at this one, and it got real quiet, and I just I had this real pretty chord melody on the bass, and I just started playing it. And when it was over, the guy who ran the conference came to me. He said, "What was that you played when everything got real quiet?" And I was like, "Oh, here we go. I'm not going to get invited back." And I said, it just felt right. And so I did it. And he said, "That was really pretty." That, by the way, this is being broadcast worldwide. And I'm thinking about putting that on my TV show next week. And I was like, I'm glad you waited until afterwards, because that would not have happened if I knew. Right. So yeah, it was, that was easily, and I did that, I don't know, 15, 20 times with those people. Yeah, 1,500, and then also a broadcast audience that I didn't know was there.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
It's a lot
What
of
are you
fun.
most grateful for?
What am I most grateful for? My kids. Yeah. I was raised by a single mom. I didn't have a dad. I had one, but he decided when I was 18 months old, he decided he'd had enough. So I didn't really know how to parent when I became a father myself. And then when I got divorced in 2002, if you would have said, hey, 20 years from now, you're going to have all your kids are going to be adults. They're going to be healthy, and you're going to have a great relationship with all of them, I would have like, thanks for the encouragement, but that ain't happening. And so, I'm incredibly thankful that all of them are fairly healthy. They are well-adjusted adults, or working on it. And I have a really good relationship with all three of them.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
What are you most excited
Awesome.
about?
What am I most excited about? Well, the fall hiking season is just about over, but I'm still really excited about that. I have this series of poetry books that they're not performing the way that I want them to, or that I think they should, according to the feedback that I get from people who read my poetry. And so I just decided last night that I'm going to go ahead and hire a coach for the publishing, because I need, I'm obviously not going to figure it out by myself. And the great thing about finally realizing I'm not smart enough to figure it out by myself is that now I realize, I have to figure out somebody to pay who can figure it out for me.
I have a great publisher friend. Her name's
Okay.
Becky Norwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Several.
might be able to help each other. So thank you. That's
Cool beans.
Yep.
All right. Well, Dean, this has been amazing. And so I'm going to do my little spiel again about,
Wait
tell
a
you, hey,
second.
if you liked
You
today's show.
mentioned that he had a gift to give. So
Yes.
no,
We're gonna
for
have-
this gift is for Barbara. Pat, you might like it too. So yeah, it'll take like 3 or 4 minutes. So we'll do it after we're no longer live, if that's okay.
okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, hey, you know what? Welcome to the Everyday Riches Show. And if you like the show, tell your friends. Leave us a note below, and we know we all leave our notes. And just give us some loves. So that we're looking forward to seeing you next week. And so, any last words from you, Pat?
No, I wish everybody a good week that is not hampered by Mercury in retrograde.
You know what? I do have to tell you one thing, Pat. I say that all the time. Whenever anything goes wrong, it says, like, you know what? My girlfriend Pat always tells me that this happens because Mercury is in retrograde. I have no idea what that means, but she says it. I believe it, and we're okay.
Well, the basic foundation is that the planets move forward, but every once in a while they move backwards, and all planets do this. They like stall and they move backwards a little bit, and then they move forward again.
Oh, okay.
And when it goes backwards, things go backwards. And Mercury is notorious for technology. So, for instance, I got a new cell phone that came with no instructions. It came in the mail. No instructions. It has a SIM card. I have no idea how to open it up. So guess what I'm doing today? I'm going to find somebody going over to the store to get somebody to put in the SIM card and show me how this thing works.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Who knew? Who knew? Anyways, everybody have an awesome week. We will see you next week, same time, same station, and have an awesome day. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.